Drafting is one of the marquee components of pro play, and a well thought out and executed draft can be a huge difference maker between teams of various skill discrepancies. While this can have an incredibly powerful effect at the highest echelons of play, when it comes to everywhere else, Clash, Flex Queue, or even some levels of amateur play, it's quite a different story. What may be good and often picked by your favorite players on the big stage could very well be awful picked when it comes to playing with teams at any level lower than that. This video is quickly meant to highlight and advise you on some of these differences so that we can understand why those differences exist and how we can take advantage of this to draft creatively. To start things off, let's think about professional play. Pro play is undoubtedly a great way to understand drafting at the highest level, but there are in fact stark differences between the applications, priorities, and implications of each pick in a draft. There are many cases that there are picks by champions in pro play that will work entirely different in a solo queue, casual, or amateur environment. You typically will see this with champions like Ryze, LeBlanc, Azir, Renekton, the list goes on. This is because the environment the pro play establishes itself in, as well as the level of coordination that exists in that environment, gives each champion a distinctly different identity than what they would normally have in average play. We can actually take advantage of this fact and simply pick champions that supplement this average level of play. Easy to execute mosh pit type comps are typically the way to go here, and have seen much success by many teams for this reason. There's no need to worry about tough to execute macro plays and tightly knitted siege comps when you can just meatball some champions together and really get something going there. There's of course some other factors to consider when you're just getting together with your buds and playing something like Clash, so here are some quick factors to keep in mind. The biggest one is that champion pools are limited. At this level of play, it's honestly just not realistic to expect that your teammates will be able to play every single champion. This is especially the case with many players that have similar pools or are even one-trick ponies. There's no point trying to get a good counter pick if you have to force your teammates into crazy picks in order to achieve it. Prioritize your teammates being able to play at their highest level of play over unrealistic levels of champion flexibility. Another way to look at this is that each champion in the game isn't really being played to its truest potential regardless, even in the case of challenger players. With this being said, its effectiveness will be different when you put it into practice. Again, consider focusing your drafting on things that play to your player's strengths and have a relative ease of execution. The overall dynamic of amateur play is also going to further promote this argument for champions that are easy to pilot, and especially ones that scale, since you get punished less anyway in an environment like Clash as opposed to pro players that are going to punish you perfectly. While drafting is a fun and extremely rewarding topic to learn and apply at all levels of play, it's a very important skill to understand and differentiate between the skill levels that apply to you and the players you're playing with. Take advantage of this, play to your team's strengths, and succeed in the way that works best for you.